All right, today we're jumping into a really interesting project called Scorch. It's all about tackling a huge problem in crypto. What happens when there are just too many tokens out there? So let's break down their game plan.
So, the whole idea behind Scorch really starts with this concept from psychology, something called the bystander effect. You know the feeling, right? When there's a problem and everyone just kind of assumes someone else is going to step up and fix it. Well, in crypto, that someone else is usually the project team. Scorch is basically saying, what if we could flip that script entirely?
And that really brings us to the core question here. Instead of just sitting back and hoping for the best, what if you, the community, the actual holders, had the power to band together and fight back against things like inflation and oversupply? I mean, that's the whole premise we're about to dive into.
Okay, so before we get into the solution, we got to understand the problem they're trying to solve. And that is crypto's big oversupply issue.
Yeah, it really just boils down to basic supply and demand, right? The source material makes it super clear. If you have way too many tokens floating around and not enough new people wanting them, the value is naturally going to get pushed down. And over the long haul, that can really hurt a project's chances of sticking around.
All right, so we've got the problem. Now let's see how Scorch pitches itself as the answer. So, what is Scorch? At its heart, it's a decentralized platform built on the Shibarium Layer 2. Now, being on a Layer 2 just means it's designed to be faster and cheaper to use, but its main job? To give communities a structured, transparent way to reduce their token supply. We're talking about burning tokens, permanently taking them out of circulation.
And this isn't about random, unpredictable burns that a team decides to do on a whim. The whole strategy here is way more thought out. It's about putting control back in the hands of the community, actually giving people rewards for participating, and making sure the whole process is totally transparent. You can see the proof right on the blockchain. It's also designed to keep people engaged long-term through things like staking and create real market-driven scarcity. Okay, so we've covered the what and the why. But how does this thing actually work? Let's get into the nitty-gritty.
So to start, the platform is focusing on the SHIB token. Here's the process. First, a user buys Scorch using their SHIB. All that SHIB then gets collected into a big pool on Shibarium. Once that pool hits a certain target, the system kicks in automatically, bridges all that SHIB over to the main Ethereum network, and sends it to a dead wallet. And when we say dead wallet, we mean it's gone. Poof, permanently removed from circulation forever.
And this is where it gets really clever. The platform isn't just a one-trick pony. It supports two main types of burn events. On one hand, you have these big Scorch-initiated burns. Think of them like massive tournaments with leaderboards and rewards, all designed to make a real splash in the market. But on the other hand, the platform is also a tool for other crypto projects. They can pay a fee in Scorch to host their own burn events, setting their own rules and rewards. It's super flexible.
Now, burning is permanent. But that's not the only tool in the box. The ecosystem also has staking. This is where you can lock up your Scorch tokens for a while. By doing that, you're not just supporting the network, you're also earning rewards. Plus, and this is key, it temporarily pulls those tokens out of the market, which adds another layer of scarcity.
All right, let's talk about the money side of things, the tokenomics. Because how the token is designed is absolutely crucial to making this whole vision work. First things first, the total supply is capped. There will only ever be a maximum of 15 billion Scorch tokens. That's it. No more can ever be created. And when you look at how those 15 billion tokens are split up, it tells you a lot about the project's priorities. Check this out. A massive chunk, almost half the total supply, is set aside for the burning platform reserve and the staking pools. That means the tokenomics are directly fueling the core mission, rewarding people for participating. Okay, this next part is actually really important, and it's all about team commitment and trust. The white paper says the team doesn't get a huge pile of tokens up front, no pre-minting. Instead, their tokens are minted gradually over time as auditable monthly salaries. Why does this matter? Well, it's designed to prevent a classic pump and dump scenario. The team's success is tied to the long-term health of the project. And that compensation is broken down even further into these different tiers. It's a system that's really designed to reward people based on how much they're putting in. You've got the core team at the top, who are investing both their time and money, all the way down to valuable community members who get invited to contribute. It's about recognizing different levels of involvement. So what does the future look like? The roadmap gives us a pretty clear picture. It all starts with the token presale.
then the full launch of the Burn platform and staking pools. But it doesn't stop there. The plan is to keep growing the ecosystem, eventually integrating the SCRKH token into a couple of new games, Altcoin Arena and Hunt, to add even more utility.
Okay, we've gone through the problem, the solution, the mechanics, the tokenomics, the whole shebang. So what's the big takeaway here? What's the one thing you should remember?
At the end of the day, Scorch's core mission is to change how we think about scarcity. It's about transforming it from something that just happens into a deliberate, active strategy that's driven entirely by the community itself.
And that brings us full circle, right back to that quote from the beginning. Everyone wants something to change without changing anything. That's the bystander effect in a nutshell. And the entire Scorch platform is being presented as the answer to that problem. It's the tool designed to empower community to actually be the change.
And that really leaves us with a huge, thought-provoking question for the entire crypto world. This project isn't just about one token supply. It's asking something much bigger. Could this model, decentralized, community-led supply reduction, actually become a new standard in tokenomics? Could this be the future of how value is created and sustained? I guess that's something only time and the market will tell.